folks. Today I'd like to take a casual peek into my unboxing of the collector's edition of Diablo 3 for the PC by Blizzard Entertainment, as well as the limited edition of the Diablo 3 Strategy Guide. Today is May 15th, 2012, the official release date of Diablo 3. And I'm a big fan of the Diablo series, going back to the very first Diablo game in the mid-90s. And followed it ever since through the sequel and now to this third entry into the Diablo series. I'm also a big fan of collector's editions of video games, as well as limited edition hardbound strategy guides. I think these are just really nice bonuses to go with the game, and it's just a really neat thing. Now, being a fan of the Diablo series, the release of Diablo 3 caught me a little bit off guard. I did follow the production of Diablo 3 early on, but as with most Blizzard games in development, it takes quite a long time for them to release their games. And I just took it on faith on Blizzard that they would release the game eventually, whenever they were ready. So I stopped following the development and just found out about a month before the release that the game was finally coming out. And it really did catch me off guard. And I did not place a pre-order for the game, so I actually had to hunt down this collector's edition on release day. I did stand in line at Best Buy this morning, hoping to pick up a collector's edition over there. But as soon as the store opened, I found out that all of the collector's editions were slated for the pre-orders and none for, I guess, the general public, you could say. So I really had to drive around, make some phone calls at some stores to find a collector's edition of the game, and eventually found a copy at Fry's Entertainment, or Electronics, sorry. And they sold it for $99.99, which is the typical price of the collector's edition. And I was very happy to finally get it. Now, for the limited edition strategy guide, I did pick up that at Best Buy when the store opened. And the neat thing about the strategy guide here is that it normally sells, I think, for $36 or something like that. But Best Buy had a sale on that for $27, so I went ahead and picked the book up there. Now, for this unboxing, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the strategy guide first. And it's a nice book, very thick book here. And it has a nice holographic design on the front here. I think it's more of a foil than, like, say, a lenticular design. And you can see moving the book at different angles. It's got a nice, I guess, reflective sheen to it from different angles. So it's actually quite nice. And the cover of the book is actually pretty nice as well. It's got an embossed design on here. Which I'm not sure if the video will pick up. Maybe at certain angles you might be able to see it. But it's got a pretty cool embossed design on here as well. And the texture of the book is not your typical hardbound book. It's got a more of a, almost, I would say, rubbery feel to it, but not quite. It's not your typical hardbound strategy guide book. But it's got a really, almost not tacky texture to it, but between smooth and tacky, you could say. It's actually pretty cool. Now, this book was shrink wrapped because there is a bonus type item here, and you can see it was a separate. You can see the design on the back of the book. Actually, it's actually pretty neat. Now, this was within the shrink wrap on the back of the book here. You have a nice bonus item to come that comes included with the book. You have here a sculpted metal bookmark, which is pretty cool. You can see the design of the Diablo head there. Very, very cool. And it also comes with an exclusive art section here that's only in the limited edition of the strategy guide. About 48 pages of that. And of course you have the premium hardcover to the book, as well as a free digital copy of the book. You have a code inside that you can use, so pretty cool. And you can see it was $37 here, but I only paid $27 for it. Now, taking a look at the contents of the strategy guide itself, let's take a look at this. It's a nice thick book, you can see right there. And I'm not sure how many pages this book has here. Let me just take a look real quick here. It has about 400, almost 500 pages to this book, so it's a nice thick book here. It's really cool. And of course, you have the table of contents there. So you get the angle, the glare there out of the way. And pretty neat. It's got some cool artwork on here. And there are no map sections because the nature of the game is randomized as far as maps go. And but it does show you things about the heroes that you can play. This one for the barbarian, demon hunter, monk. What else do they have? Witch doctor, wizard. And it's just a whole bunch of classes there. And then I think there's a total of 5 maybe. And then you have the different acts, which are standard in the game. So basically the missions in the particular acts of the game. So it's pretty cool. Your typical strategy guide. And I really like strategy guides. I've always liked strategy guides going back to my early PC gaming. And I just think they're neat things to read and to have. Yes, they can get outdated over time, but I think it's just a neat reference to go back upon and just look at. Especially also to have it in hardbound, a nice, I guess, collector's type of edition of that. And you get basically, I think, 4 acts to the game. And then you also have stuff on crafting here. It's actually kind of neat. The equipment. And it's pretty cool. And of course the bestiary of all the different monsters in the game. It's actually pretty neat. And of course they have the there's achievements here. And then you have this bonus art sections that is limited just to this version of the strategy guide, which is pretty cool on there. So really neat book. And I'm glad to have gotten this on sale. So, and that's the limited edition of the strategy guide here with the bonus bookmark item there. Pretty cool. Now, taking a look at the collector's edition of Diablo 3. Now, this thing is one heavy sucker. Pretty big and pretty heavy. And like I said, kind of hard to track down, especially if you don't have a pre-order for this. And I was just lucky enough to get a copy at Fry's Electronics and for $100. And it's got a neat design to the box, almost like a parchment type design to it. It's pretty cool. You got the Diablo 3 logo here and some nice design that's also slightly embossed on here. You can see the design over here. Hopefully it picks up on the video screen. Just slide this over here. It's basically plain on the back. Now there was something here. When it was shrink wrapped, there was a backing card that's inside the box at the moment, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But pretty basic design for a collector's edition. But I like the parchment style to this. It's actually quite neat. Now, to open this, you basically slide this upwards here. It's more like a case on there, and you can see the Diablo face on here, which is actually pretty neat. Take a look all the way around here. And I don't believe this separates from the bottom edge of that. So this is this middle piece is actually part of that, I believe. So that's kind of cool. Now, taking a look, I have the card here. This is the backing card that was on the back of the package when it was shrink wrapped. And you can see all of the items that come included with this collector's edition. It's actually quite neat. You basically have the game, behind the scenes DVD, the soundtrack, the art book, and of course some cool in-game items, as well as the Diablo skull and soul stone, which is really, really cool on here. Pretty neat. First thing I'll take a look at here are you also come with these cards, which I don't really want to show because they have codes on them, but they have here I guess the codes for the Diablo 2 game that's on the USB card, as well as guest passes to Diablo 3 and I think World of Warcraft there, but I won't show the code for those for obvious reasons. And next thing we'll take a look at here is we'll take a look at the art book here. You got another hardbound book here, and this is the art of Diablo. Now, I'm not sure if some of the art was in the strategy guide, but because I haven't looked at the book itself. But let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick, and open this up. And this particular book is about 200, almost 210 pages there. That's a nice thick book there of the artwork. There's the inside cover there. And you got the map here, pretty cool. And artwork on the heroes, which is cool. And I haven't even decided which class to start out with. Like I said, I followed it early on. There were only like 1 or 2 classes released for the game at the time, so I'm not even sure what all of the classes are, and we'll have to find out when I install the game. But you can see all of the neat artwork here. Pretty cool. Very nice. And another nice hardbound book for perusal in the future. Just really great artwork here. Pretty neat. I saw some more artwork. It looks like the barbarian type class on there. So that's actually a nice photo there, or picture. So pretty cool on there. What was that on the back? Oh, the credits, of course. So that's kind of cool. Very nice hardbound book. Next, we'll take a look at this here. This is the soundtrack to the game. Now, this is still shrink wrap, so I haven't actually opened it and listened to it yet. But I'm hoping it's the same composer that did the previous games. I believe his name was Matt Uelman. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. But I really did like his work on Diablo and Diablo 2. And especially with that steel string guitar work that he used for the theme. Hopefully it continues on this particular soundtrack. And there's the tracks for the soundtrack. It looks like 25 tracks on there, so that's kind of cool. Although it doesn't mention who the composer was, so hopefully you'll find out when we open it up. But that's the soundtrack. That's a nice design there. Next thing we'll take a look at here is the this is the behind the scenes DVD slash Blu-ray. There are 2 discs on this, and this goes over certain things in the development of Diablo 3. It looks like a director's commentary, see interviews, gameplay discussions, character creation roundtables. So it looks like it has a whole bunch of neat stuff. Now, I have not watched any of it yet, and I was hoping that they would have the cinematics for this particular version of the game, because that's one thing I really enjoyed with the last collector's edition of Diablo from the Diablo 2 game, which I have the cinematic disc here. I thought this was a really neat thing from the Diablo 2 collector's edition. It had all the cinematics to the game at the time, and this was 24 minutes long, but it doesn't look like it may be included in this. I'm hoping it's like an Easter egg type of thing. I hope it's in there, but we'll have to find out when we watch this. But this is the behind the scenes DVD slash Blu-ray for Diablo 3. And of course we have the game itself here, which is cool, I guess. It's on a DVD-ROM, and it's in a case, so I'll have to get to installing this pretty soon after this video is done. And finally, we have this here, which is I think a pretty neat thing here. And this is in a nice box. Really cool design here. Pretty neat. To resemble, I guess, a wooden type box that you can open. And you just slide it on open like this, basically. And what you have here is a skull of Diablo and the soul stone. And taking a look at the soul stone here, now this is basically a USB drive, a 4 gigabyte USB drive, sculpted to represent a soul stone. Now it is slightly translucent, not too transparent. If you shine the light from behind here, you can actually see it not glow, but you can actually see the translucency of the item here. But you really have to get a light behind it to really bring out the effects. And it's kind of cool. And this particular USB contains the Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 expansion to the game within the USB, so that's kind of cool. I'm not sure why they not included the original Diablo game. That's curious there, but that's kind of cool. And then the next thing you have here is the skull of Diablo here, which is really cool. And this actually acts as a base for the soul stone here, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But let's just take a look at some of the details of this base. It's really cool. You can see all the sculpted design on there. It's very neat. And there's the back of that, and it has a like a stony type of design to it, texture to it. And you can place it there. You can see how it rests onto the floor there, or the whatever you place it upon, with the teeth of the skull here at the base and the horns. And you also see this sort of slot in the middle of Diablo's skull there, and that's for the soul stone, which is cool, and it acts as a base for the USB drive. And you just stick it on there, and you have the soul shard there embedded into the Diablo skull, which is very cool and very neat. Would have been neat to have lit that thing up, maybe to shine for the translucent part of the soul stone there, but that's okay. But still, very cool item, a nice bonus item for the collector's edition of Diablo 3. Very cool. Now, this is my casual peek into the collector's edition of Diablo 3. Just really neat items, as well as the limited edition of the strategy guide. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and to see the contents of all of this. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.